I think we got a transmission here. Welcome to the Quantum Cafe and Interstellar Lounge with your host here, the Cosmic Messenger. This wonderful, amazing place where we can come forward and just share all of the wild conversations that we want to have, from truth-seeking to multidimensional living. I am a starseed, metaphysical activator, Lightbody technician, and Reiki master teacher. And I haven't been on in a little while. There's so much happening in the multiverse. I just had to come on and share some more about what's currently going on Gaia and in the field. But today there's a few topics I want to talk to you about. So it's going to be about acutonics and tuning forks, the 12-strand DNA, and healing conditioning with inside the body. So I hope you're all doing well out there. It's been a wild trip on Earth. So much gamma rays and influxes of energies coming. When people talk about the photonic band and the photonic light coming through on Earth, those are little dodecahedrons. Look that one up to get the image and the shape. And they're really small, but that is the light coming through. And that's exciting all of our energies on Earth and bringing in constantly new templates. Now, a couple years ago, we had what was called supernova templates in the 12th dimensional packages, and last night my partner brought them through as well too, and had a supernova experience in the middle of dream space. So those are starting to reactivate again as we're passing through them. One of the first updates I wanted to share about is, I don't know if you're all familiar with tuning forks, but particularly acutonics. Wow. So a few months ago, my partner started getting involved in it and then wanted to take the courses. So signed up for them, and what arrived in our home is a whole bunch of awesomeness, right? These guys right here, there is so many of them. They come in tons of shapes and sizes, and they're absolutely incredible. Tuning forks, we could sit here and chat about them for hours. This one over here, the purple one, is the Zodiac, and over here this is the Ohm fork. Now, placing the tuning forks on the body is an incredible experience. So sound encompasses a lot of our healing, and sound makes up the very fabric of the universe, right? It's light, sound, vibration, and love, right? And intention. But the sound is what does a lot of magic. And you know, in different quantum periods, sound's been used so much in the humanoid zones. But with us here on Earth, in this current timeline that we're on, it is definitely its max skills have not been tapped into yet. And when you place them on the body, particularly the mid-range to the lower, you feel it reverberating through your body. Now, you want to seek a authentic, high-quality practitioner that knows what they're doing with them, because you can overstimulate different parts of the body depending on which ones you're using, particularly, say, like Mars or Sun energy, as I'm learning as I go too, because my partner's showing me how to do some templates as well on the body, up the spine, some spots on the feet, the heart center, and different spots on the head cavity. But the Ohm fork in particular is absolutely incredible. You can use them anywhere on the body and as much as you want, and they're used in pairs. I get activated, my nervous system gets reset, and it also brings me into the full being of myself. So there's quite a collection, and there's a whole bunch more coming, and it's absolutely incredible to watch how deep this modality can go. And the response from different beings using them is it's off the charts for sure. Okay, so we got two other subjects that I wanted to touch on too. So I'll start with 12-strand DNA. What a wild trip, right? So our DNA is not stuck on two physical strands that they tell us about. Our DNA it could go up to 144, it could go past that point. But what we're working on right now is working towards our next step, which is a 12-strand DNA package. Now, as far as mutations in the physical can go, through natural evolutionary processes, the holistic organics of the harmonic life, that can occur. However, We're talking about the energetic strands today, and those energetic strands are adding to the body. So you don't just jump to 12. You start with your 2 and you work your way forward. Now I forget his name, but there's a being on Earth who I was doing an internet search. I'm like, 12-strand DNA, let's get some information a few years back in quantum time, right? And that now. So we're talking about it, so it's happening now. And that being was, I don't know exactly how they were looking at the DNA, but they were able to get some physical photographic shots of what's going on inside of the body through, I imagine, a scanning process. And people who are going through an ascension process and evolutionary for the humanoids on Earth, I love that term, or us in our biosuits, our avatars, was noticing that the 12-strand DNA was intact and that things were moving in that direction. So super cool, right? Because we have a knowing that it's occurring. Now the 12-strand DNA is all of our extra energetic lines, right? I've heard other people talking through secret space programs to just straight up, healing sessions, that there's been 64 strands that we can work towards too. I'd say it's going to just keep going beyond that. 12 and 12, 12 times 12, 144, your 144 oversoul parts. It would just fit into that category that we are working way past a 12 sequence, right? But 12 holds a completion sequence. Now, 10 is magical on its own right in numerology, but the base 12 math is something totally awesome. When we shift our system, then we're going to realize that there's so much more that we can unlock out of it. Now, if you've had any experiences inside of yourself where some of your extrasensory perceptions and abilities have started to turn on, right? That's another form of that strand activating. So let's say somebody's really getting in touch with their intuitive body inside of them. They're getting in touch with their intuitive centers, their pineal and their pituitary glands, right? The third eye. That would be a strand that's activating. Somebody has an experience of levitating. That would be another strand activating. They can now heal with their voice through sound, right? Say during a treatment session, or maybe they do group stuff in public as well too. So those are other methods of the strands turning on. Some beings hear in ear tones, right? Like myself. Or you can feel that there's gamma rays or ultraviolet infrared coming through into the atmosphere, and you're tuned into it on a daily basis. That also has to do with that same vortex of energy, right? That's another strand coming on. You can turn on multiples. Now the indigo children, some have heard that, there's 3 waves of the birthing of them, right? And so you had the ones that were born before 1980. We're just kind of using a rough timeline. That's in our current calendar system, which technically is a little bit distorted to say I'm going easy on it, but for the conversation purposes, around then there's a first wave before 1980, 1880 and after there was a second wave, and then there's a third wave going on right now with the children in the last 10 years. And then from there, those all of the light codes and encodings that are energetic frequencies that are built into these indigo children just get passed on, right? Permanently, because they're now accessible in the field. And with a lot of them, when people are doing different sessions, and they happen to involve children sometimes, like treatments, energetic sessions, what they experience is that a lot of these children already have that third strand activated. Now, how cool is that, right? Super amazing. And yeah, so anytime you have any otherworldly experiences that feel like your abilities are going to the next level, or maybe you were able to compress time and have so much more of it happen in what we would deem a one-day period, and you're, wow, how did I get so much of that done? Or, ooh, that went a little quicker than I thought, right? But we're talking about the compressed stuff, where you're getting more out of what we call an hour, and you felt like you got 3 hours out of that 1 hour, right? then you have an ability to create time, which we all do have a lot of these abilities, right? But depending on our incarnational path, certain ones will evolve at different speeds and rates, okay? Now so that's a little bit on the 12-strand DNA, right? It's energetics inside of your body, and you can feel that electrical current crawling up your head, moving in different spots, depending on where it's activating, right? You can even have it in your heart. Some people are not necessarily always super intuitive or oracles, pulling out, different oracle cards, tarot cards, whatever, having sessions, information coming out, but they're so compassionate and they lead from their heart with everywhere they go. That in itself is another strand. And it's getting these pieces back into our being because over a long period of time, they've slowly left. And that's kind of the predicament we're on Earth, as our toxics all over Earth, I'm saying toxics in general, but all of the toxins inside of our body and our distorted patterns, right, are starting to come out, and Earth is no longer wanting to put up with the fact that we are overriding natural law. Okay, so I'm just going to jump now. So we talked a little bit about 12-strand DNA, right? Do some research, look into it, feel it into yourself on how that goes. These gamma rays and photonic light have a huge part in it. And also, when you pull yourself away from mainstream society, pull yourself away from everybody else, not to remove yourself. There's no detachment. But what you're doing is standing in your own power. Then you have the ability to tap into some of these abilities. Going out in nature is a huge one. Making sure that you're taking good care of the body and all that fun stuff, right? It gives you, it tunes you up to be able to connect to spirit. Okay. I get so excited talking about this stuff. So what we're going to do is add to this now, to a third section. So there's these wonderful books that were written in the 80s, I think, by the time that they were all done, by Cian D. Rowan. And they are colored like the chakras, but they don't necessarily go in those orders. Now, every sentence in these books is powerful transmission from prime creator source coming through and out into the book. I've read a lot of material. I'm always looking for the highest vibrational medicines, books, information could possibly get in this lifetime. And these are definitely in the top picks. I had a book video that I had done a while back showing you all these amazing books that I've read and ones you should check out. These ones I would add to the list. I am so grateful that they came into my life. Reading them now, it's like they just came out fresh, and they're going to be fresh for a very long time. So in the section that I'm reading, it's all about encompassing the right use of the will, is what they call the book. But it was interesting because a lot of things that I was working on, I didn't realize how much they comboed together. Now, I knew that they linked because everything links. But in the realms of conditioning, denial, and separation, and then merging the will, which has been almost destroyed from how far we've taken things, and bringing that all into a common center, is how we can unlock more of the, what people deem the instant manifestations around us, right? Bringing in all of that abundance and allowing to be the creator that we want, no matter what people are saying about paying your bills or doing this or that or the other. That's all stuff that gets in the way. But the main one that I wanted to focus on today, to highlight, to illuminate, is coming into harmonic balance from our conditioning. And those conditionings that it's speaking of is individual and collective. But we need to start with ourselves first so that we can manifest that outer reality. And the conditioning comes in a wide variety of patterns, right? But if you take a look at what's coming out of a lot of the field around when you go out in public or you turn on the media and check out different things, you find that a lot of it is quite dark, negative, and not exactly very pleasant, right? So that's a manifestation, right? An override of us putting those things through the field for a very long time. And also the conditioning. The conditioning can be from you and all of your lifetimes that you've ever had on Earth and any other planet. If you're not in an act of healing those things on a regular basis, transmuting them inside of yourselves, or working on them, they compound, right? And then they manifest as repressed emotions. your own repression of your own stuff that you didn't bring up and out in the moment or in that quantum near future, so that it doesn't get stagnant inside of you and then turn into a variety of physical dis-eases or blocks in terms of being the master creator that you are. And that conditioning, it's more compounded than we can ever imagine. And a lot of the times it happens because of denial. We are denying these very things that we want to access. Oh, I'd really like to do this as my job, but I don't know if that's going to bring in abundance. But I'm only half liking where I'm at. Or this relationship's only half good, and I'm not really putting in the effort to do anything. But who cares? Because that's just what life's all about. That's those kinds of denials that block yourself from what you truly want, you truly have. Or somebody that's deep respect for any being you are. But let's say you're super timid and you're just like, well, I really wanted to dress in these clothes, but I don't know how everybody is going to look at me if I just start to really vibrate my true self. You're stopping yourself from your full expression, right? And these things do not change overnight, but with some good work, it's amazing how quick you can start to see things shift, spin, and move into your outer multiverse, right? And that's where the separation happens. And it can even be separations from your light body, your higher self. Separations from your etheric double. Separation from your own auric field. Forgetting that it exists. And so the compounding of that, if you look at it as society, look where we've gone. Prices don't get any cheaper. They get more expensive everywhere you go, and you're just chasing after reality and over again. And even in the middle of chaos, no matter what we're up to out there on this beautiful planet Gaia, on this wild trip of learning lessons and being at service to humanity, you can still shift it in the middle of pure chaos. No matter what's going on, you will have your own reality, right? We do link up, but the field is meant for vibrating at a high level, for being here, and for full abundance, right? So taking a good look at that. But the key one is the conditioning and the emotions. And are you denying the ability for them, for you, on your own path at your own pace, to come out, to come forth in a safe container that you choose to be in, right? So that's kind of the stuff I wanted to touch up on today. As usual, I'll be back again with some more fantastic video fun. And I appreciate anybody for sitting down and listening for this little bit of time, taking the space to tune in to wild multidimensional living. And we'll be here to talk to you guys again soon. Awesome. Take care, everyone.